What's going on, people? What's good? What's going on, people? What's good? What's going on, people? What's good? Monday Night Live, MNL of the Tech and Chill Show Unplugged. I'm your host, Ben, from the Lover of Tech channel. How are we all doing? 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 Wow. Switching over to Monday Night Live special edition of the Tech and Chill Show Unplugged. I'm your host, Ben, from the Lover of Tech channel. What is up, people? How are we all doing? What's going on? What's popping? What's good? We are dual streaming through the power of Restream.io, through the power of the internet, to Twitter, Periscope, and on the YouTube. So I've got the Twitter Periscope stream pinned to my Twitter profile. So it's there if you want to watch on Twitter Periscope as well. So if you guys are there, I'll be keeping an eye on the comments. DJ1, what's good? What's up, man? Thanks. So I'll be trying to keep an eye out on the comment section on both Twitter, Periscope, as well as YouTube. But the main conversation, the main hype is obviously on the YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/loveroftech. Head over, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any content that is here as well. So what's good, people? The Tech and Chill Show Unplugged out here, Monday Night Live special in the UK. We out here, we're a bit, you know, late in the evening. Man, I've been kind of tired, you know. I'm not even gonna lie to you lot. I was meant to do this show yesterday, but man, I spent all afternoon, all evening. I don't know how people edit fast, man, but it takes me time, bro. It takes me time, yo. Like, I needed to get that video out because I need to start doing other videos apart from camera comparisons. I've got maybe 2 more phones that I need to go and do against this Galaxy Note 9, which I've had for a little while now. And I want to get my dome glass and my case reviews out as well before I do my full in-depth review for the Galaxy Note 9. So yeah, man, let me check the comment section and see who's in the live stream. Justin's here. Hey bro, what's good? I said sup to you before. Thank you for joining in and setting a reminder. Hello, Daniel Armstrong, what's good, man? Good to see you again. Stream has now started. H3T1K, sup, what's good? Next Gen English, yo, what's good? What's good? Yo, technically T in the house. What's good, T? T in the house, what's popping? Shalom, what's good? Hello, sound as good as pound from the ground. Alright, you get that. I rate that comment. That comment's kind of wavy still. That comment's wavy still. I like that. Canada's Tech, yo, thank you for the previous super chat before, man. I'm not too sure who or what Samsung Knights are, but thank you for the super chat before, bro. Canada's Tech, like, I appreciate it, man. And again, $5, like, seriously, I appreciate it. Like, thank you for coming on the stream before. You did give a super chat previously, but I didn't mean to not acknowledge that, so I hit you up on Twitter as well, man. Thank you. Glad you like the Note 9 videos, man. At the desk watching. Yeah, bro. I'm sure time difference will be slightly further back for you because it's 8:30 p.m. right now. So as you guys have seen in the title, actually quick house rules. Let's do a bit of a sound check. How is the lighting, the picture quality? How's the audio? And then last but not least, my favorite part of these live streams that most people don't really care for too much is the background music. How do you like the background music? Is it blended in nicely? Is it overshadowing it? Is it perfect? Do you want it a bit higher, slightly lower? Give me the feedback. Let me know that the sound and the picture quality is in check so we can get the night rolling. Talk about some tech, new camera gear, more on the Note 9, as well as the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL leaks that have been dropping left, right, center. What is the meaning behind it? Because the Google event is going to be 4th of October on a Thursday, and for this phone to be leaking more than two months before the phone gets announced, let alone released at the end of October, man, that's a bit much. So we're going to talk about, you know, what does that mean? What is the tactic behind that? Is it intentional, or is it just all smoke? So and any other business, AIB, so AOB, any other business, any other things that we want to talk about in tech, man, I'm going to engage with you as my audience. So I'm going to look this way because that's where my monitor is. Camera lens, mic, camera lens, monitor. So that's where the chat is. So I ain't ignoring you. I'm going to try and give as much eye contact as possible. You see me? Right, let's see who else. Yo, Tech Valor in the house. What's good, Tech Valor? Hello. You're welcome, bro. Nah, I'm humbled, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. The support that you're giving to the Lover of Tech family, man. I appreciate it. So thank you, man. You're all good. Yes! Seal of approval. Trust me, we're good out here. We're good. We're about to get this started and we're about to get this talked. You sound great. Background music's perfect. Vid good too. All on point. Ooh, approval for my creatives. I get excited when my creatives give me that approval. Everything sounds good. Hola, Tana Tenli. Oh, a bit of Espanol in the house, yes. Tech Valor in the house. What's good? Concepts creator CC in the house. Yo, we got the big boys in the house. My boy Courtney, Fresh Tech TV in the house. Big things are going in, Courtney. I see you, bro. I see you, bro. I mean, would you really want to show the Pixel 3 XL early because it's that ugly? I'm gonna give you my consensus around that. I think it's too. We'll talk about that at the end. People don't give the time to see the notch larger. Right, cool. You know what? 3 topics that I want to mainly bring down to this MNL Monday night live special of the Tech and Chill Show Unplugged, where you come, we talk, we tech, we chill, we unplug, we unwind. Nothing too structured, but just with a bit of order as per usual. Nikon, or Nikon for my Canadian and my American brothers, have announced, not released, there's always a difference between announcement to actual official release, 2 new mirrorless cameras, and not just any mirrorless, full frame mirrorless cameras with pretty much the biggest lens mounts that you can find on a mirrorless camera at the moment, right? The Z6 or the Z6 and the Z7. So we're going to talk about that first. We're going to talk more about the Note 9. Just some things that I've picked up on that I wanted to give like a mini feedback on what I've been feeling about the Note 9. You know, it is my favorite flagship. I am a Note user. I am a Note fan. But at the end of the day, there's little things I've picked up on it that are very nitpicky. I'm talking about being very nitpicky here, but it's just a general consensus of like what I've been picking up since I've had it for. I've had the phone since like under ND. I've had it since like the 25th of July. So I've had it for a little while. So I've picked up on little more things that I wanted to share. And then the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL leak. So right, let's jump straight into it. Let's jump straight into it. Let's see if I can grab some footage of what's going on with what do you call it, the Nikon release. All right, Nikon Z7. Let me just see if I can search it up, see if I am literally just trying to. So this is more gear talk. So if you guys are into gear talk, my people that are into gear talk and whatnot, obviously this is going to be for you. And I kind of just wanted to chime in and, you know, show my thing just literally my hotkeys. I seriously need like a Stream Deck, because my hotkeys kind of switch up the screens easily and whatnot. I'm just trying to think where I can search some stuff. Okay, let me just read the comments quickly. With those Nikons, I really need to see what the video autofocus is about. Been quiet about that. Yeah, I got slight hands-on in my local camera store, and based on initial impressions, it was the Z7 that I was actually using. It's a 45.6 megapixel full frame sensor. It's mainly the photography horse out of the two. So it's almost like what they've done with the Sony a7R III, which has a 42.6 megapixel sensor, and the a7 III that has the 24 megapixel. Both are backside illuminated sensors, so they're BSI sensors. They're mirrorless based, so there's no mirrors. It's a small compact body, but obviously the reason why they've called it disease is the new lens mount. That new lens mount, that new Z mount, is huge. It's massive. And obviously the whole idea is to create a roadmap for better future compatibility with lenses. And in a lot of way, again, we still need to really know how good the processing power is for the internal engine of that camera, but arguably that is probably the best mirrorless photography sensor in any camera right now. Because if you look at the a7R III, the a7R III, from what I remember, has 900. It has what, 393 face detection autofocus points, right, with a mix of contrast detect. Again, sorry if I'm getting a bit nerdy with the stuff, but yeah, when it's a bit of gear talk, it does. So it's got more autofocusing points. I'm not necessarily too sure how well spread out it is on the sensor, but the initial impressions and the initial look of the video autofocus that I saw when it was demonstrated in store was killer. It was on point. It looked like it was face tracking. You know, the Nikon representative put like an f1.8 105 portrait lens on there, and it was tracking from a distance, really close back. It looks promising, and the fact that it was working in UHD 4K already really puts a big pressure on Canon, because Canon ain't bringing, still to this day, the only way to get continuous autofocus on a Canon camera system is if you get something like a C200, which is not a hybrid shooter. It's a dedicated video shooter. It's not a hybrid shooter. So far, man, like what? And the lens roadmap for that 0.95 aperture manual focus lens that is coming to that Z mount is crazy. That is literally like, forget the bokeh, the low light performance purely from just a big lens aperture opening is crazy. Like, so I kind of wanted to like share my 2 cents on what this means for the mirrorless market, the competition, who is it for. I've watched a couple of people's like feedback on it, and these are well trusted people that I watch when it comes to photography, videography, gear. You know, I'm still waiting on people like Caleb Pike to give their 2 cents and their drops on it, but you've got guys like, you know, that one camera guy that's giving his 2 cents on it. Tony and Chelsea Northrup, they are massive Nikon D850 users when it comes to photography as well as videography, which mainly they use Panasonic with the GH5 because they've got a camera person. It's very interesting, the general consensus that they've given on these, and I kind of wanted to share my 2 cents. Let me try and see if I can bring up some proper specifications. Again, I'm gonna be definitely trying to engage in the comment section, so don't watch that. I'm here for ya. Let me see if Nikon have got anything on their official page. Ooh. Oh yeah. All right, so let me just switch scenes, webcam and desktop. All right, cool. So, no, this is not what I want. Oh, they're just playing me videos. I'm just trying to think like if they've got anything. products and solutions, image and products. I'm just trying to think like if there's any. All right, cool. So I'm just pulling up a quick article here, and this basically shows both of these cameras. So again, like I said, they've gone by principle exactly what Sony have done. Same bodies, but with different sensors and different processing internally for what they do, right? So it's got, and obviously by default, when you're using a mirrorless camera system, you have to use an electronic viewfinder. So when I use the EVF looks really good. And I mean, once you experience a good EVF or EVF in general, like an optical viewfinder on a DSLR is just like, even for photography, let alone videos, can't go back. So the EVF is definitely looking good. It looks sharp, it looks bright, you know, it really looks like it has good coverage to that full frame sensor. And this is again what their lens roadmap is looking like, right? So there's three native lenses to the Z mount that they've got that's coming out, which is a 35mm f1.8, and it's the f1.8 that I had on there as well. So I saw the f1.8 on there, the 35mm. You've got a telephoto zoom lens that is 24mm on the widest end, which is exactly what you begin on the full frame, to 78mm on the most, you know, telephoto zoom lens, but it's a constant f4. So as you zoom, it's not a variable aperture. But one initial criticism that I've heard is, and I've got from a lot of people, is that they should have brought the f2.8 lens out first. They've got the f2.8 lens out coming out next year, because what you have to realize is, because it's a full frame sensor, right, an f2.8 is actually all you need to get a really nice bokeh depth of field, because an f2.8 on an APS-C sensor like something like the Sony a6300, right, is actually an f1.8 lens. So you get the same equivalence at 2.8 because it's full frame, and because it's a full frame sensor, you will get slightly better shallow depth of field as well with the background bokeh. You see, so for example, I've got my 60mm Sigma f1.4, but the equivalent of this on something like an A7 III sensor would actually be f2.1. You see, so that's the initial criticism. So the lens roadmap is looking promising, but there's only 3 lenses, but there is an adapter that allows you to put all your old Nikon F mount lenses on there. So I know for sure Nikon users are going to be definitely happy about that. The autofocus system, like I said, it was looking good, and from what I'm seeing here, it says it covers 90% of the frame, which is a big deal in terms of like a full frame 35mm sensor coverage, right? So the specs on it are looking great. A lot of the video features, when it comes to things like, you know, 10-bit N-Log, which is obviously their flat color profile for maximum dynamic range compared to what you get on the Sony with the S-Log, and also Panasonic with V-Log, it's all done externally. So what they've done is they're not using a micro USB. No, so they're not using a micro HDMI. They're using a mini HDMI, which is going to be much more secure. Nothing beats a full size HDMI cable or port, but it's better because they're able to get more information out. So that means you can do 422, 10-bit, as well as N-Log with their flat color profile to something like the new Atomos Ninja V or Ninja V, right? So you being able to do that gives a big edge over what you can do with Sony, because of the Sony systems, because it's using a micro HDMI, you can't actually do 422 color or 10-bit color. You can only do 420 8-bit color with unlimited recording externally, but internally you can't do any of that. And obviously what Nikon's consensus was around that is that 8-bit is not enough to do N-Log or log. You kind of need 10-bit, which is understandable, but it would have been still great to have that option. So they're really showing their partnership with Atomos, you know, and I really want to get that Ninja 5 because I want to start recording in ProRes codec. It's using a single card slot. So it's using an XQD card slot, which is meant to be faster, but it's not really like a generally supported memory cards format compared to what you get with UHS cards or UHS-II, which are just your normal SD cards. And also it's just a single slot. So where Sony have fixed the usability with the A7R III and the A7 III with the dual card slot and the A9, you're not getting that with Nikon. So I think that's going to be a very touchy thing for pro users. Again, there it is. That is the XQD card reader right there. So it's a bit of a tricky one. It's a bit of a tricky one, especially for those pro Nikon D850 photographers as well as videographers, and not really videographers, but the photographers. Not having two card slots is a bit worrying. Although these card readers and these cards are meant to be much faster. We're talking about SSD level. We're talking about 400 megabits per second and 400 megabits per second, so megabytes per second read and write speeds, which is going to be really good. But again, we don't know what the frame buffer is for when you're taking fast 12 frames a second shots with the Z6 or the Z7. Definitely the more video orientated one is gonna be the Z6. That's the one that's gonna be for video takers, because 24 megapixels on a full frame is gonna give you slightly better ISO performance, better noise sensitivity, slightly bigger pixels, and it's gonna be something that is gonna be more suited to video. Whereas obviously the pixel binning that is gonna be using, there's gonna be so much resolution from that 45 megapixel sensor on the Z6, on the Z7, sorry, that it's probably not going to be the best for video, but it is going to be good for video because you're getting a full sensor readout. There's no crop factor when it comes to the 4K 30 frames a second. There is a crop factor when you're shooting high frame rate slow-mo, but I can't remember what it was. I didn't get the full information on that. And that's, you know, that's kind of where they're going for this. I think, let me just switch it back to me, then I can see in the comments. I don't want to have bored all you guys, so let me go back. Let me just read the comments quickly, then I'm just going to interject what I think this means for the mirrorless market, because mirrorless is the way forward. You know, DSLRs are much bigger, much more robust, much more traditional, much more rugged, but mirrorless is where it's going. And I think the mirrorless scene really needs some heavy hitter competition, because I think Panasonic and Sony are really eating up the game there. You know, so I'm gonna drop my 2 cents and see, like, you know, what this means for the mirrorless market as well. That aperture f1. Yeah, the aperture is hella crazy. It's only gonna be manual focus only though, which makes sense, because I'm telling you, man, autofocusing on anything on a full frame less than an f2.0 is difficult for any system. So it makes sense that it's only going to be manual focus only. But wow, the low light performance and a bokeh from there is going to be crazy. You think Nikon's going to be the Canon killer? So far, I think they're putting a squeeze on Canon Tech Valor. I think so far they're putting a squeeze up on them, and it's good. This is what I mean about competition. I watched that one camera guy's review, well, not review, but his general thought about Nikon being dead on arrival, and it does make a bit of sense, the kind of points that he was dropping, and I want to kind of interject my feelings on that as well. Kaiser Reveal in the house. What's good, bro? Hi, hope you're doing well. You have some info about the Huawei P20 Pro? If you have some info about, I don't really have any. What info on the P20 Pro did you want? Definitely should have brought the 2.8 out. Yep, yeah, 100%. The continuous autofocus looked a lot better for video. Yep, but the autofocus for photography didn't look all that great. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I think it's a Sony IMX sensor that they're using. I think it's the trade-off to what they did from going from a completely contrast-based system, which for a lot of reasons with the eye detect autofocus really works well for photography. But I think now they've moved to a phase detect autofocus system. It's not necessarily because the phase detect is not comparable or is not capable of doing that, but I think their processing power of the actual chip that is in there that does all the image signal processing, I think it's about 2 years behind personally, which makes sense because Sony has been at this mirrorless game for the longest out of everyone, you see. So I just don't think the processing power for photography for that sensor and
end, what it's doing is probably up to par. But for video, yeah, the continuous autofocus is looking great. The continuous autofocus is definitely looking great. Do you know Smartisan R1 phone? I've heard of it. Katie Cloud in the house. What's good, Katie? So this is great. Now, what Nikon have done is they've gone straight for the high end. It's a good look, but it's worrying at the same time, right? So there isn't an upgrade path, but again, it's promising to see the Z mount. But my worry for the Z mount is it's so big that it's not a bad thing, because it's also allowed them to have a much better 5-axis stabilization in body system, right? Nikon have a different name for it. It's like vibration reduction, built-in Vibber or something like that. It's built-in vibration reduction 5-axis stabilization on this. So because it's got a big amount, they're able to fit a much better 5-axis stabilization in there, right? The flange distance is so short to what the end of the lens is, right? If lens adapters like Camlink, Metabones, even cheaper guys like Viltrox get onto adapters for them, wow. The adapters, I'm talking about every single lens that you're using from any manufacturer, whether it's Fujifilm, Nikon, Canon, Sony, will be able to adapt. That is the beauty of mirrorless, you see. So lens adapting could be and should be very, very promising for that particular Z mount, you see. But questions are, what is the recording time for video, right? What is the battery life going to be for video, right? What are going to be the color profiles for video, if there's going to be any color profiles, not just external recording, right? It also does not have a flip out screen, but one ace that they do have over Sony is the touch screen on the back. Even though it is articulating, it's massive. 3.2 inches is really big. I took some pictures of it on Twitter as well. Let me see if I can bring it up. Need it. I think I had it up here somewhere. Let me just switch it up. All right, so I had it. I had hands on with it. You've got a top OLED display, which is really good for lighting situations, and also just having a quick glance at what you're recording as well. That's the adapter right there. The adapter's big, but it mounts to the older F mount Nikon lenses as well. So that was the f1.8 35mm prime lens that I had on there that I was getting a bit of hands on with. But again, because it was pre-production, I couldn't really see any of the outcome of the stuff. I could only literally go by, you know, memory of what I was seeing there. That is the f1.4, I think it's the f1.4 105 portrait lens that was on there as well, beefy. That's the rear LCD, and you can see here that's the EVF, massive. That's the joystick. That's a full touchscreen, and it's fully operational. You can pretty much control the whole camera through there, which you cannot do on a Sony. From the A6500 up, all the touchscreens on there are just for touch to focus. You cannot use it to operate, but it's not a fully articulating screen. It doesn't flip out all the way, you see. So that's another thing to consider in retrospect to what they're bringing to their table, you see. I think this is good for the industry. I think this is good for the industry. Competition. Now, this isn't anything for Sony users to get worried about, to have to switch over. So I'm gonna call it straight. Sony have done a lot to fix all their usability problems, almost all their usability problems, with their new generation A7 III, A7R3, A7, A9, right? We just need the replacement for the A6500 to come out, whether it's the A7000, A67000, all of those cameras that need to come out, that need to replace those cameras to have all those same usability benefits, right? But this is good. the sensor in itself is probably a better sensor than what you have on the A7R III, right? In terms of megapixels, yes, it's an extra 3 megapixels, but it's more nonetheless. It's still a full frame, it has a much bigger mount, so adapters are going to be better. The potential lens roadmap is going to be better as well, even though Sony have established a better lens collection over that period of time that they've been doing their E-mount lenses and stuff for their APS-C as well as their full frame. Also, dual card slot, which is a problem that was there for the A7R II and the A7 II on all those previous cameras, but they've fixed it now. And the fact that they're using XQD, I get the speed benefit, but I don't know if it's going to benefit if the internal buffer of the camera is not good to match up to it. I think they should have just done with using a normal SD card slot standard with UHS-II support, where you get up to 300 megabytes per second read and write. So that's going to hurt them, and it's going to hurt them for pro users that are also there needing dual SD card slots or dual card slot readers, right? That's a very, in terms of redundancy, duplication, not losing your work, that's a very big worry for pro users. But what the problem is now is it's not just the expense of the lenses, because when you move mirrorless, smaller bodies, potentially cheaper bodies, right? They're priced on and around what the A7 III and the A7R III are going to be around, you know. So Z6 coming out end of November, Z7 coming out in about 2-3 weeks, priced at £3,000. Z6 priced at £2,000 body only. Very similar to what you get on the A7 III and A7R III. But the problem that Nikon have is they don't have an APS-C version of their mirrorless, right? So there's no upgrade path, and this is what the one camera guy was saying, and there's no upgrade path. Best way I can put it is Sony's E-mount, right, who are arguably probably, they're killing the mirrorless game at the moment, right? Nothing against Panasonic, but the micro four third sensor has a big limitation in terms of lens equivalence to full frame to what you can match in terms of focal length to aperture. Again, I'm sorry if I'm getting a bit technical, you know, sometimes it gets a bit, you know, so we'll move on to some more fun stuff. So with them, for example, this Sigma lens that I have on here, right? And Everyday Dad, shout out to Everyday Dad, he asked me this, if the new Nikon systems have a crop Super 35 mode, which I need to find out as well. If I get, the day that I decide to get an A7 III or an A7R III, my APS-C lenses are not redundant. They are still usable. I just need to put it on there. It mounts on, right? And I just put it into Super 35 mode so I don't get the blackout vignetting on the sides. So actually, all my APS-C lenses that I've collected while I'm on the smaller body can work when I upgrade to full frame. So my investment is not redundant. You see, so there's an upgrade path. There's even a downgrade path. If I wanted to, I could start collecting full frame lenses for my APS-C sensor ready for when I move to full frame, and it's backwards compatible up or down. That is the beauty of the Sony E-mount. And even then, let's just say we move up to the Sony cinema cameras, your FS5, your FS7, FS7000, those that use the E-mounts, this will all be compatible with it, you see. So that's their problem. There's no downgrade to upgrade path with their mirrorless system. And it's great to see that they've gone straight in, but I think it would have been better for them to have released an APS-C size mirrorless and also one full frame, right? Even if they didn't go for the high megapixel, I think if they brought out two, in my opinion, if they brought something like a Z5, an APS-C 24 megapixel and a full frame 24 megapixel, I think they would have really benefited and shown the benefit of how adaptable that new Z mount, because that Z mount is beautiful. It's like, wow, it's big. It's almost as big as this. Well, I'm over exaggerating obviously, but it's big, right? It's big. This is a brave paradigm shift for Nikon to be taken more seriously in this newer hybrid space, especially when it comes to videographers and content creators, right? So I don't think they're dead on arrival. I think the Nikon loyalist will be happy to jump on the fact that it's a much more compact system. There's a lot of promise for it. It's a good way to go, but I think where they really could hit a home run, if they bring all these usability benefits of what they've already done and showcased. Again, yet to be fully reviewed by all the bigger photography channels and whatnot, but I think they need to really focus on bringing out an APS-C size sensor mirrorless that is capable and has all the usability, the initial usability functions that we're seeing right now, with a flip out screen and that face detection autofocus system for video. I think if they did that, wow, I think they would have really caught. And I think the one card slot thing with the XQD it's worrying for me personally, because sometimes outright speed is not all that you need. You need usability as well. So I think the single card slot could be something that, you know, it could hurt them. It could hurt them. It really could hurt them for the price that they're commanding, especially with how Sony have brought down their pricing for pro users and having that accessibility. We'll see. We'll see. But in all of this, what makes me so happy about this is this clearly shows how, one, kind of lazy Canon has been, and two, how Canon is riding on their absolutely awesome and strong lens ecosystem, right? Nikon have now put themselves in a situation where now they look like a much more serious, to the consumer, mirrorless hybrid shooting company. Canon now look like they are just riding on their laurels of their dual pixel autofocus technology, their great lens selection for DSLRs, right? And they literally are riding on that train now. They know that their usability is on point because of their articulating screens, their great menu, their great touch screens, their great dual pixel autofocus. They are trusting, and obviously people talk about the Canon, you know, color science, great. They are riding on that so much, and because of that brand loyalty, that with Nikon doing this, and Nikon in a lot of ways having that same equivalent lens collection to what they do, have now made Canon look like they are really just dragging their feet now. Like, we knew Canon were dragging their feet, but now with what Nikon have announced, we can really see that they are really dragging their feet. And this is not to account for the fact that the replacement for the A6500 is around the corner. It's not that far. Blackmagic with their Pocket Cinema Camera 4K is coming out as well, right? So this, to me, really, I really hope Canon don't come out with that M50 nonsense that they did. As capable as the M50 is, right, but them gimping the 4K on there, right, and not giving it the true full out usage that it's meant to have as a mirrorless camera, you know, that standout feature. If it wasn't anything like in-body image stabilization, I was hoping Canon were going to be able to build something that was going to allow you to have built-in ND filters, however hard that might be. But I was hoping that Canon were going to bring something to the mirrorless game that was going to make it a standout feature, but they just brought to me a very capable and a very usable camera, but that is still gimped, you see. And I hope for the life of me, Canon doesn't do that with their M series mirrorless full frame equivalent, that they decide to actually go all out. Fine if they add a bit of a crop factor, cool, but I mean, give us the standout features that make you great. Your dual pixel autofocus, working in continuous 4K at 24 frames and 30 frames a second. You see, main thing for this is all eyes are on Canon, and I hope they wake up. I hope they stop dragging their feet. But yeah, the Z series, the new Z series with the new Z mount and the mirrorless camera from Nikon. Wow, I know there was a lot of leaks around it, but wow, I'm impressed by initial. I don't think it's going to be enough to stare people that are well established in the mirrorless game with their Sony systems, right, to come over. But this is going to be good for the Nikon fan base that wants something that is still Nikon based. They can still adapt to it, still use their lenses, but gives them something more serious to work with when it comes to video, because you've got a built-in microphone jack, built-in headphone jack. It can charge over USB Type-C, so it's got great usability features as well in terms of just being able to get things done, which is promising. Yes, it lacks a dual card slot. but this is a step in the right direction for them. But I think they need to focus on getting something like a Z5 out, show the benefit of that Z mount, the backwards compatibility as well as the upgrade path, and an APS-C sensor size mirrorless camera that is small, compact, and is able to go toe to toe with the mid-level Alpha series cameras and really show their weight, you know. So that's my 2 cents. That's my opinion interjected. And yeah, let me just jump in the comments and see what you guys have to say in regards to it. I'm definitely considering picking up the Z6 for video and keeping my D850. Ooh, D850 is a beast. Yeah, I think keep the D850 for photography, Kaiser. I don't think for photography, apart from the weather sealing, I just don't think the Z7 does enough for the photography side of things, where they promised it to be a miniature D850, because a lot of people are saying it's not. More people are excited about what the Z6 has to offer. I think it's better to pick up the Z6, get the Atomos Ninja V 5-inch external recorder that fits with it as a nice package. I think that's a lot more promising than the Z7. I think the Z7, I think it punched a bit too above its weight for not offering things that pro users want. Not even against Sony, but I'm just even saying against people like you that have the D850 that wanted a mirrorless version of that. It just isn't it. It just isn't it. So just based on first impressions, I just wouldn't. Yeah, but I think the Z6, get the Z6, invest in an external recorder. Wow, I think that is there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of benefits to that. And I mean, Nikon also have great color science as well. So yeah, VR vibration reduction. Yep, your live stream is so crisp. Thanks, man. Super curious about your streaming setup. Like, I have no idea how you're streaming a pass-through on no delay as well. It's restream.io. Hit me up in the DMs, I'll show you. I honestly can't wait for Canon to get together. Oh boy, not all of us we've been waiting for so long. Nikon are looking more exciting than Canon right now when it comes to the mirrorless space and the camera space, especially when it comes to us guys that love hybrid shooting, not dedicated video cameras, but hybrid shooting. Canon really need to get it together, man. So Tech Valor, no worries, speak your tech jargon. Thank you. I like to geek out, you know. Ambience length photography, been a while, was good. Hell yeah. First time joining in from a Malaysia trip. Oh, cool. Daniel Armstrong, is 4 GB of RAM enough on Windows? Hell no. What are you gonna do with 4 GB of RAM on Windows? You need minimum 8 gig if you're only going to be gaming and doing general stuff. But really and truly recommended, I think, is 16. And if you want more than enough, then yeah, 32 GB of RAM for sure. Canon color science in a full frame mirrorless that shoots 4K with phase detection, autofocus, dual pixel autofocus sounds like heaven. It sounds like heaven. And shout out to Alex from Tech Focus in the house. Was good. It sounds like heaven, but will Canon do it? Will Canon do it? I think Canon are so worried about protecting their cinema line series so much, especially that gem of a camera that does internal raw recording, the C200, that they will release a full frame mirrorless camera. They will, but it will just be, and I fear this because Canon really can drag their feet. I have a feeling it will just be a small version of the 6D Mark II, right, with gimped 4K, and people are still gonna put up with it because they love Canon's dual pixel autofocus, they love their color science, they love their lens selection with their adapter, and the brand loyalty. They will put up with it. This is what I hope they don't do, just for the sake of having to protect the higher uppers, right? That's my worry. That is honestly my worry. Typing this on a Pixel 3 XL. Young Welshman in the house, Dave West, what's good? What's good? What's good? So that's the first topic out of the way. Again, I'm your host Ben on the Lover of Tech channel. We are restreaming this on Periscope, Twitter. So here up on the what you call it? hit up on the, what do you call it? Hit up on the Twitter live stream as well. So when you go to the Twitter live stream, I'll be trying to keep an eye out on the comment section there. But the main conversation is over here on the YouTubes. So definitely, man, jump in the comment section below, hit me up, let's talk, let's discuss. First topic out of the way, mirrorless competition. Mirrorless competition. Competition is good. Let's obviously, I'm not saying, you know, jump over, but let's do everything we can to see and hope that Nikon are successful in the mirrorless game. What that basically means is Sony will not sit on their laurels. Sony will up their game. Panasonic will up their game. Canon, the main person that we want them to jump in this, will up their game and take things more seriously. You see. Oh, okay, so let's see what's good. All right, Note 9. Wow. So I just dropped again, my previous live stream. I kind of talked to you guys. I wanted to get a bit of feedback to see if it was going to be easier for you guys to digest how I did my ultimate camera comparisons, because again, that's a staple of the channel. It's something I enjoy doing because I learn a lot. And I just thought, you know, let me do a bit of an experiment just to, and it's this, I'm gonna put it out there, man. This recent talk, every other tweet that I'm seeing from creatives nowadays is all about algorithm. Like, done the algorithm, like, forget the algorithm. Seriously, forget the algorithm. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's just like, seriously, the whole algorithm thing is just starting to annoy me a bit, man. Just worry about how you can organically engage with your audience to make the best videos that you can every single time. Videos that are relatable to your channel and videos that you enjoy making, right? So I enjoy making the ultimate camera comparisons, but my biggest worry was the digestion of how my audience took it in. That maybe it was just too much in one go. So as I've started to, I'm doing something where I'm splitting the videos into two. I'm not cutting down on my in-depth that I need. So if I need to actually speak about something, I'm not going to suffocate myself and cut it down, but I've split into video and photo tests. So I wanted to get your feedback and see if you guys are actually liking it that way, or do you think it's something where I should go back to the older format and just do it all in one go? One thing I will say is cutting it into two makes it a lot easier for me to edit. So I am enjoying the editing process. The editing process, cutting into two separate videos, it's a lot easier. So I'm definitely enjoying that aspect of things, right? So I dropped the video yesterday. So Note 9, wow, Note 9 has been interesting. I've got two more potential phones that I probably want to throw against the Note 9. One of them definitely, and I did this intentionally just for me. Like, it wasn't for anything else. The Pixel 2. The Pixel 2, guaranteed, is probably going to be the last phone that I'm going to throw against the Note 9. OnePlus 6, I can get hold of a OnePlus 6, but it depends if I feel like doing a camera test against it or not. That's the honest truth. I think it's an unfair comparison, but I might still do it anyway because they like to scream themselves as flagship killers, so maybe. And the Note 8, maybe I might do the Note 8 as well. So, but definitely, if there's one phone that's left, it's that Pixel 2. It's the Pixel 2. And then I want to break out and do my other stuff. Have a little bit of a break. Just a minor little break. Start doing my dome glass videos on it. Shout out to GravX. If you guys have not, you know, Grav was on the previous live stream when we were talking about the release of the RTX from Nvidia. GravX's Whitestone dome videos, like, wow, on point. Technically T's Whitestone videos are on point as well, so go check those two out. They're the ones that are pretty much putting the dome videos out there. Case reviews, smartphones for screen protectors and stuff. So I'm gonna get onto that. Then I want to do my full in-depth review of the Galaxy Note 9 because there's things that I've picked up on it that, you know, I would have definitely liked them to do a bit better. So if you, first thing I'm going to touch on is the selfie performance. Like the selfie performance has improved, And if you hadn't noticed, man, check out the photo comparison of the S9 Plus. Selfie performance, especially for low light, has improved. But one thing I really wanted is live focus for the front facing camera, because I don't really like selective focus. And if you guys know about the A8 Plus and the Galaxy A8, I was hoping that they were going to do the dual front facing camera implementation that they did, because contrary to popular belief, as good as the portrait mode is on the Pixel 2, the process of taking portrait shots, the Galaxy Note 9 is actually my favorite, because I love light focus. I love light focus for the sheer reason of the fact that you can adjust the background blur before and after you take the shot, as well as being able to have dual capture where you have a wide angle shot as well as the portrait close-up shot, right? I just think the flexibility of that is just so much better, even though the point and shoot prowess of the Pixel 2's portrait mode is a lot easier and a lot more pleasing and a lot quicker, right? I really wanted that for the Note 9, and it's not something that they did, which, don't get me wrong, it's not a deal breaker, but I'm just like, live focus for the selfie camera would have been on point. The display, wow. That display, like, I appreciate having such a good display like that, where I'm able to watch full screen content. Like, you just don't, like, I don't watch full screen content on my iPhone 10 because of that notch. And I keep saying it, I'm not a notch lover. I don't think I will, especially a notch as big as the iPhone 10s. I will not get used to it. And it's not out of stubbornness, it's just, I just have not gotten used to just how intrusive the thing is. It stops me psychologically from watching videos and content in full screen. I'm always watching video in vertical. I never ever turn it sideways to watch it, because I can never enjoy the benefits of having a full, near edge to edge full screen display. But on the Note 9, wow. But at the same time, and it's almost like a placebo effect, because I just don't know how Samsung do it. Every year, these displays get richer, more accurate, and more brighter. I don't know how they keep making the displays brighter, but it's brighter this time round, and you notice it. It's like, it further reinforces when I was doing the camera comparison of the Note 9 versus the P20 Pro. I could not see the P20 Pro outdoors. That P20 Pro's display is whack beyond relief. Like, it's, as Courtney would say, it's a no bueno. That display is whack. The P20 Pro's display is whack. Like, I don't know if I could put up with a display that dim outdoors. I just couldn't. I could barely see that phone outdoors. And that's when I noticed, like, rah, this Note 9 screen is bright, you know. But I wish it had 90 hertz. I wish it had 120 hertz. Like, the Apple iPad Pro 10.5 and the new 12.9, as well as the Razer phone, have spoilt me with that buttery ProMotion display where it's just fluid. I was seriously, I know it was a long shot, but I was like, please give us 90 hertz. And do you know where my hopes went high? Because of the Asus ROG phone that had that 1080p AMOLED 90 hertz display. I'm like, it's possible then. You can have a high refresh rate OLED panel. Like, I want that so bad. Maybe I'm the only one to speak. I want a high refresh rate panel. The speed and fluidity, like, I want it. Razer spoilt me. The first time I saw that on the Razer phone and I saw it on the iPad Pro, I was like, whoa. You notice it, like, your eyes pick up on the fluidity. It just, everything just looks so buttery, and I'm like, I want it. I 100% want it. So those are the two main things that I picked up on. Battery life is so good, it's still very good, but for the life of me, Quick Charge 2.0, I know it's not the end of the world. I know it's not Apple bad. I know. And this is for you, T. I know, T, you're loving the phone, and you're saying that there's not much that you can pick on the phone that you don't like. So I'm doing this for you, so you can see that there is little drawbacks. It takes longer to charge. I'm gonna try and do an official video on it once I have a little bit of a break. I get the right phones in. I'm aiming to try and do iPhone 10, Note 9, OnePlus 6, and S9 Plus battery recharge test video. It takes you notice it takes longer to recharge, and I'm there thinking that this weird marriage between Exynos and Snapdragon in different regions to the circuitries. Why this phone does not have quick charge 4 is beyond me, seriously. Like, or why it doesn't have, why Samsung do not have their own charging proprietary technology like VOOC, like Huawei Supercharge, like Dash Charge. It jars me. Like, I get it. Quick charge is more of an open standard, supposedly. Obviously USB power delivery PD is more of an open standard, but no quick charge 4. It feels like it takes longer to recharge. So again, I do appreciate the fact that fast wireless charging is available. Fast cable charging is available with adaptive fast charging, quick charge 2.0. It comes out of the box. I don't need to pay extra for it. It's still better than slow charging, but please, man, quick charge 4. At least quick charge 3. You know, something more than a 15 watts that it supports. Like, we need something a bit more beefy battery. We need it. We need it. Like, we need it. What else? Let me check in the comments and see if there's any feedback on it. What's your thoughts on the new Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K? Yeah, I did a live stream on that. I'm getting it. That's going to be my new 4K 60 frames a second live streaming camera. And the benefits of the BMCC 4K is it's like having an Atomos recorder built in. It doesn't do low jack codecs, right? We're talking about Cinema DNG RAW, 3:1 compression, as well as ProRes LT, ProRes and ProRes HQ 42210-bit internal. We're talking about megabytes per second in terms of bit rate, not megabits per second, megabytes per second record bit rate. And because it's ProRes, the efficiency on your timeline for playback is going to be hella good, right? At that price, wow. Plus it supports your standard active MFT micro four thirds mount. Cheap lenses, good. I'm definitely getting that Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K. I want to get that. I need to get a new laptop. I want to get that. I want to get the Atomos Ninja V as well. Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K. Wow. Yeah, 100% recommend. That's if the Australian company Blackmagic Design can actually meet orders and get their quality control in check. So you're looking for a new phone. We're swaying towards a new OnePlus 6T when it comes out. That's going to be November. Yeah, for you like stock Android, Jordan. So I would say get the OnePlus 6T when it comes out. It's probably going to have that water drop display like what you have on the new Oppo phones that were released. What do you think about the Pocket F1? I want to import one in. Like, it brings back memories of what OnePlus did with the OnePlus One when it first came out. Like, rah. And if you guys didn't see the camera comparison Mr. Who's the Boss Aaron did, that Poco F1 was doing bits, minus stabilization. It was doing bits, like, rah. £300 for that phone. You know, I might have to import that in just to have it there as like my side chick phone. Like how, okay, I like how you cut it up. Just make a playlist so it's easier to go through. Oh, okay, thank you. And yeah, no, I have, okay, I get it. I've got a playlist. I do have an Ultimate Camera Series playlist, so when you go there, it's there. So I'll put it there. I enjoyed the 2 separate videos. Thank you for the feedback. Let me know. You're doing a great job. Some people only want to see certain aspects, and this makes it easier. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for the feedback. Again, I'm gonna drill this home. I don't give two damn about this algorithm. Who's the algorithm? I don't know algorithm. I don't know who he or she is. I don't care for it. I care about you guys that are always up in my comments, always giving me constructive feedback, always looking at my like, I'm caring about what you lot are going through when you need to digest my content, right? Especially at this level where I can be more organic with you guys, where the channel's not so big, where the comments are flooding in with views and I can't really keep up, and I kind of just have to go with what I know. At this organic level, me just asking you, do you like it split? Like, that to me matters more than any algorithm. Like, let the algorithm do what it wants. Even if I'm meant to be live streaming or not live streaming, I don't really care too tough. I'm more worried about that organic engagement that I want to have with you guys. So if you guys are saying that you're rocking with the 2 separate videos and you're digging it, we're doing that. We're gonna keep doing it and see how it keeps responding, because obviously there's new iPhones coming out next month, which I'm gonna have to cop. Then there's the Pixel phones that are coming out on the 4th of October, or announced at 4th of October. And then obviously the Huawei Mate 20. So it is so important for me to be able to get content out to you guys that you can digest the way you like, but you're also still doing content that I like doing, that balancing act, you see. So yeah, it looks like you nicked Roger's milk tray, man. Jump. Milk tray. Why are you always on the troll tip, Dave? Disable my Bixby app ASAP because it's, yeah, Bixby, yeah, that's another thing you can't do. You can't disable Bixby, which is, I hate that low battery notification. Another thing I don't like is when you're turning up the volume and it's always trying to tell you like it's too loud. I'm like, bro, I'm good. Like, just let me turn up the volume on the phone, innit? Gimmick features. Just turn the Bluetooth on, the S Pen off. I don't think it's gimmick. Okay, for my day job, I do a lot of PowerPoint presentations, and I'm gonna do a separate video on DeX because I've got the new USB Type-C. Let me see if I can pull it out. So yeah, I've got the USB Type-C to HDMI. There we go. Ooh. There you go. Ah! There we go. So I've got the DeX adapter, and the first time I used the Bluetooth remote control on a PowerPoint presentation with the Note 9, I was in my head, I was geek. I was like, yo, this is clutch. So I actually don't think the Bluetooth features are that gimmicky. It depends on the use case scenario and the type of person you are and what you need it for. And yeah, I've been banging out a lot of group selfies with people at work, and people have been loving it. Like, so I don't think the Bluetooth features are gimmicky. I think they're useful, but you have to see the use case scenario in them and the benefit. But the benefit of it to be more usable is the fact that it's not locked. It's not locked to one feature like the Bixby button. You can use it to long press and hold to open any app that you have installed. It supports third-party apps like Snapchat. People got more shocked when I was showing them that, yo, it works with Snapchat. Like, you can flip the camera in Snapchat, flip it back to the front or the rear, take a picture with it. People, some of the girls that I know that were on Snapchat were like, yo, this is lit, I like this. So they were about that. So it depends, man. If it was a fully locked down Bluetooth S Pen, then yeah, it would be fully gimmicky. But I think because it's been more open source compared to what it's like on the Bixby button, I think the Bluetooth S Pen features are a little bit more useful. Who is the faster to charge? Oh, the P20 Pro. P20 Pro is faster. It's got its own, it's not open standard, but it's got its own proprietary charging tech, supercharging. It's faster. Yeah, supercharging is crazy. I just because if the whole quick charge thing is slowing them down, I would actually, there's some cases having your own proprietary tech is useful, and OnePlus, Oppo, and Huawei have proved this. Like, Samsung might just need to jump on their own charging technology. Like, just do it. Just do it. Okay, cool. Let me go into the comment section. Who is Algorithm? I don't know him. You crack me. No, but it's true, Tech Valor. Seriously. Like, I'm just trying to think, like, just like, sometimes it's just too much analytics. I saw one other guy, I can't remember his name. I saw him through Technically T. His video was a short cinematic montage with motivation. Like, seriously, he said, like, flip the analytics, forget the analytics. Why not just worry about the gear that you need to buy, how you can be a better content creator, how you can make better videos, how you can be more confident, more comfortable in front of camera, how you can be more efficient doing your A-roll, your B-roll, your voiceover, your day. Worry about that. Worry about that. And whoever this algorithm person will find you and celebrate that. Find that. That is so much more important. Like, damn. I've never heard some, man, the tweets that I've been seeing today about the algorithm has just been annoying me. I'm like, no, if I could easily give you algorithm, what gives you the most views on your channel? That, just keep doing just that then. But then if you're gonna be creative, if you're gonna be creatively suffocated into doing just one thing just to please whoever this algorithm is, then you're killing what potential content that you could be putting out there that you enjoy and people might want to see. You see, that's my argument. Like for me, the inner vlogger in me, I love vlogging, but I don't force vlogging unless it's tech related and is relevant. So when I get the opportunity to vlog and is relevant, right, I will do it. I won't say I won't do it because the algorithm on my channel only likes camera comparisons, because that's what I get most views about. The algorithm on my channel only sees me doing this, so that's all I'm gonna do views about. Nah, if it's relevant for me to vlog and I know I enjoy vlogging and it's tech related and it's gear related, I will do it. I will do it. Even if I only get 100 views, who cares? My vlogs on my channel, right, have probably the worst view out on all my videos. But when they were relevant and I did it, I probably go back and watch my vlogs and I enjoyed them a lot more than my main content, because it just feels different. It feels different, you know? So that's my advice, man. It may not matter to people, but that's my advice. We'll never truly know what algorithm and how exactly. I agree. It's more useful than the Bixby, but for me in most cases it's more convenient to use my finger than to pull out. Yeah, so I do agree. That's another feedback, that the two-step process of click, pull out can be longer, but the accuracy that you get with it, the accuracy and the preciseness that you get with it can be very beneficial. Definitely, I wouldn't say it's gimmicky. I think it's just an additional two-step process that can deter you away from using it, but when you are using it, it's definitely less gimmicky than the Bixby button. So we can agree to disagree, but it does work well in the heads. Yeah, cool. So that's kind of the feedback that I wanted to give on the Note 9. It's been great. I want to round up on it. Obviously the Note 9 is not going to be fully over, because as I would have done my battery recharge, I'm gonna have a slight break away from it. Once I do my dome glass, my case videos, the cases that are going to be coming in, I'm going to try and reach out to more companies to see if they can get me more cases in, buy some more for myself, do all of that, do the battery recharge test. I don't really like doing speed tests, you know. There's other smaller creators and other bigger creators that do that well. Tech Fuses does that very well. And then full review, definitely full review. I'm going to be trying to see if I can do like throwback series on tech that I can get from people as well. My wife has an iPhone 6s. I'm going to try and review that. I've reviewed an iPhone 6 Plus that was previously mine on the channel, so I might start doing like a mini throwback series as well. Let me see. Hold on, Dave. Okay, cool. Let me get back to this. So yeah, Note 9, man, it's been a beast. It is a beast. It is probably the most complete, well-rounded package. But again, even a phone that is striving for absolute perfection and absolute value, absolute feature set, there's still no perfect phones. I kind of wanted to draw people's attention to it and kind of play mini devil's advocate with that phone and say, hey, it's great. Actually, it's flipping great. It's absolutely amazing. It is probably in its own right probably gonna win phone of the year with no compromise in terms of hardware. Even software has come around to be good, you know, but even then there's still things that were missed, and I kind of almost feel like they're saving that for the 10th generation phones. So I hope come end of February when the S10 gets announced, beginning of March when it gets released, it really brings these shortcomings. Very little shortcomings, but there's shortcomings nonetheless. Again, shout out to my people that watch Power as well. Yesterday's episode was crazy. Cool. Pixel 3, last topic, and then we're gonna close out this live stream. Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL, especially XL leaks. Wow. What are we saying about the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL leaks? It's very interesting, I would say. There's two things that I think about what is happening with this Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL leaks, right? How Google have not prosecuted these people that supposedly stole a bag of Pixel 3s and are leaking them, showing full reviews of wireless charging working, the display, the flipping notch, how big it is, the single camera at the back, the camera the underwhelming hardware, which doesn't surprise me. Google does not care about hardware. I will still not be surprised if Google still doesn't even give anyone a 256 option on these new Pixel 3s when they come, right? I'm so skeptical. I'm so skeptical about Google caring about hardware. I actually don't even think they're gonna offer a 256 model. The new iPhones will definitely have a 512 gig model, 100%, just like what you have in the Note. Google will still be behind when it comes to storage options. I promise you. The internal hardware is going to be so underwhelming. But here's what I think. Google are either allowing this to happen because they know they were going to get a lot of backlash about the Pixel 3 XL's design being so copycat-y, that leaking it 2 months before, and this is going to be a very short segment, so I'm going to try and engage with you guys in the comments. Leaking it a month before, or 2 months or 2.5 months before, allows people's minds to be already conditioned for when they see it. It will make the keynote boring, but it'll be one of those ones, well, we've seen this for 3 months now, how the phone's going to look like, so we're kind of expected it, we're kind of used to it already. So I think they're mentally conditioning people to be absolutely acceptant to their version of the notch, which is smart. I don't really like to admit to this, but I think that's a smart way to do it. I think that's a very smart way to do it. I think it's a very smart way to do it. I can't remember what phone it was that we saw, but I think it was either the OnePlus 6 or the LG V. I think it was the LG G7. Those phones that were leaked with big notches before, once it got to it, everyone's mind was already conditioned to it. OnePlus, yes, it was OnePlus 6. When Carpe did the pole on it, embraced the notch, all those things, right? When it came out, people's minds mentally were already conditioned and ready and accepting to it. Even though it was discussed, interviewed, leaked a month, 2 months before, whatever it was. But at the time it got to that time, people's mind were mentally. So I think Google are doing the same thing, which I think for mental conditioning, right, it's a very smart thing to do. But on the flip side, they could just be throwing smoke at you lot. We could all be biting on smoke. There could be a third phone, because every company wants, every major smartphone manufacturer now, the big dogs are bringing out free phones, right? That's what's happening. Samsung did it this year, but 2 different releases: S9, S9 Plus, Note 9. Apple, they did that. iPhone 8, 8 Plus, iPhone 10. They're doing that right now with the LCD iPhone 6.1, the replacement for the 5.8 and the 10 Plus. I think they're just doing this to just throw smoke at people. People are going to buy into it. Either the phones are going to be legit or not exactly what they are. And there probably is going to be a third phone that looks nothing like what we're seeing, that is proper going to be a flagship phone. It might be that Pixel Ultra that they trolled last year. You never know. You never know. That's the 2 aspects of that I'm seeing it as. Mental conditioning, but the other side, boy, they could just be throwing smoke for us to just be smoke screened in there to be thinking we're seeing this, but it's something else. So that's the only thing I've got to say about the Pixel 3. I ain't got nothing much. If the leaks are legit and it's just mental conditioning, wow, this is some next level. This is what we've resorted to now. We've resorted to leaking the product a good quarter of a year, 3 months almost before the phone actually comes out. Yo, desperate times. It's like there's no effort in research and the development for design and hardware anymore, right? So then it makes me question,
why did you spend so much money on that HTC team to come in if you're not gonna bother to do anything that is unique in terms of hardware for yourself, just so you can leak the product 2.5 months to 3 months before it comes out? If all you wanted to do was just mentally condition people to embrace and get used to your version of the notch, that to me is very that's a smart thing, but it's a very worrying place for Google to be. I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but that's, to me, is a very worrying place for Google to be. At the same time, if they're throwing smoke, I like that as well, because it's so hard to be excited and it's so hard to be surprised with the tech industry right now. You've got amazing leakers, Venya Geskin, EvLeaks, the OG. Like, there's so many leakers out there that are leaking these products that it's so hard to get excited about the product. So if this is how they're doing it, to smokescreen people, to hide and surprise us with a much more outstanding phone, kudos to them. I'll take it, just so I can be excited about the tech. But at the same time, if this is just literally mental conditioning, and no one else has pretty much talked about this, right? People are saying Google are in turmoil, and yeah, definitely. But I'm just saying, like, if it's mental conditioning, not only is it smart, but it's very worrying for what they've done with bringing that HTC design team in. Like, what have they been doing? So that's my 2 cents and my share on the Pixel. I'm minus the camera for photography. I know I'm gonna be underwhelmed by that phone, because Google have made it clear they don't care about hardware. They don't care about hardware, and I don't see. This is what I mean about the stock Android fan base is so loyal that they will just make excuses for the Pixel 3 and just say, I still will say this is the best Android phone. You know, which is cool. I'll get smoke and hate for that, but I think the value of what you're buying, it is important that you get the software support 100%, but I think even Google software support length of period is rubbish. For their in-house Pixel device, you're only guaranteed 2.5 years of software support. What? You buy an iPhone and you're guaranteed half a decade worth of software support, minimum, half a decade. So I'm there thinking, for Pixel lineup, the Android One phones are guaranteed 2 years of software updates. How's the Pixel lineup having the same Android update length of time as an Android One phone? It should be double that. So already, to me, the fascination of, I go stock because, oh, you get software updates. You're not going to be getting software updates for that long. 2 years tops if you're lucky. They're going to abandon it. So then you're thinking, why did I might as well just got an Android One phone, or got a OnePlus, or got a Motorola. So I already have that big question mark on Google already. And then on top of that, they don't care about hardware, but they're going to charge you premium. We're talking about £850 to £900 for that phone. I promise you. The only time you're going to be able to get that phone of any value is when it's in its life of about 9 months later, then you buy it. So I'm already going to be underwhelmed by that phone, not because I'm hating on Google, but they themselves have admitted to what they are doing for the smartphone industry. What Google really cares about is AI and literally just monitoring everything, and just Duplex is my best example of what Google's about, creating real life situations with non-real like things. That's what Google's about. They're not about the hardware. So they're about AI. They're not even really about the software per se. They're about AI. So yeah, let me I just wanted to drop my 2 cents on that. So let me go back into the comment section, see what you lot are saying. I've never seen a phone leak more. Kind of fishy. Do you think the stock Android is too rare? Stock Android is, to me, is nothing special. OnePlus does a better job with stock Android. Motorola, especially OnePlus. Like, OnePlus's implementation of Oxygen OS for a nearer stock version of Android is literally like, for someone that wasn't ever a stock fan, and I first touched the OnePlus 5 and I used that, I was like, rah. Not only is this faster, but like, yeah, this is stock. This is stock. So I couldn't get out of my head, like, rah, so you're telling me like OnePlus are doing a better stock experience than Google? That's trippy. And no one is picking up on this, or is it just me? Like, Nah, bro. Stock Android from Google directly is hella boring. And I had a Pixel 2 and I sold it. I got so bored. And you know what was so bad for the Pixel 2 is you notice, how can I put it? You notice the shortcomings of that Pixel 2 when I had it against my iPhone 10 and my S9 Plus on a daily. Now, don't ask me how I'm using 3 phones at the same time. Don't ask me, don't at me. But I was. And you notice it that this phone, I'm already bored of your design. I'm already bored of your fat chin bezels, top and bottom. I'm already bored of your lackluster display. On top of that, your software is not even bringing anything saucy to the table. Like, come off it, man. Stock Android is hella boring to me. What if you came out with a completely different design and shocked everyone? That's what I'm saying. They could be throwing smoke, bro. They could be throwing smoke. It could be a smoke screen. And if it's a smoke screen and we get a surprise, it gives us something to be excited about. It's nice to be surprised. So it's either mental conditioning or smoke screen. So let me know what you guys think. I might do a poll on it on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter, link in the description below if you haven't. Fresh Tech TV, Google have got to be up to something and are just using all these leaks as some sort of charade to distract us from something special. Yeah, it better be, could be a smoke screen. This is the perspective where I don't think many people have been talking about. I honestly think it's a smoke screen. So Dave West, I agree. I agree something is up, man. I have never seen a phone leak so much without a reaction. That's what I'm saying. It's like Google are just allowing it to happen. If Google really wanted to make sure that they got hold of these stuff and got it down, I'm sure they would have. That is already a big indication of this is already fishy, because it's not even like it's the pixelated. These are full-blown high-definition 4K leaks. These are crispy leaks. Never have leaks looked as good as their renders in person. So it could be a smoke screen. You think the Note 9 leaks also helped? Yeah, the Note 9, we kind of, even if the Note 9 didn't leak, we would have kind of known what the phone was going to be about. But it did help with a bit of like mental conditioning with people. Fresh Stick TV, either something's really awesome is going to happen or Google are just really bad at keeping things under wraps. No, I don't think Google are that bad at keeping things under wraps. I just think they just know people's reaction to the notch and just how hideous that design is. So it could just be mental conditioning. I think they're probably doing a OnePlus. Remember, OnePlus did the same. They mentally conditioned all their fan base and all the people into them transitioning to the notch, until when it came to the day, and you were at the OnePlus event, Dave, when you held and you used the OnePlus, you realized that actually, you know what, I'm okay with it. So it gave you space. Remember, you did a number of videos, Dave, that were very justified with your car diaries, where you said we don't want a notch. If you do a notch, I won't buy it. This, like, it gave you so much room to do all those things to vent it out that you became tired. So this is what I'm saying about mental condition. You became tired of talking about the notch to the point where you went through your annoyance phase with the notch, you went through getting it out your system, you went through getting tired of the notch, then you came to acceptance. By the time you got to acceptance, the phone was just about to be announced. So you were okay with the notch. That's what Google could be doing. They could be just mentally conditioning us through major phases so everyone can get their reaction videos out, can make all their funny tweets, can make it go viral. Then it's going to get to a point where people are just going to get sick of it. Okay, it has a notch, who cares? Can we just see the phone already? That's what they could be doing. Or they could be doing both. They could be doing that, using that as a smoke screen, and have one special edition phone as their third Halo phone that literally is just outstanding. Huawei did that with the Mate RS, right? The Mate RS Porsche Design Edition of the P20 Pro. Look at that. No notch. Full quad high definition display, inbuilt fingerprint scanner, 512 gigabytes of storage, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 4000 milliamp. So much. They could be doing that. You never know. You never know. So we'll have to see 4th of October. Yeah, I'm preparing my expectations for it to be leaked version. Google doesn't really shock and all. I'm telling you, man. The Fresh Tech TV same. I've said it before so many times, but Google phones should be absolutely standard amazing. They should be, but Google is about AI. They're about making sure like you're gonna have androids, real life androids in the house very soon. Watch. Google's about this AI life. They ain't about hardware. They ain't about software. They're about AI, artificial intelligence. That's what they're about. And they've made it very clear. They've demonstrated it. It's scary how good till this day, I cannot get out of my system how good Google Duplex is, even as a demo showcase. It's scary good. That's what they're about. They can't, for the life of me, anyone that's bought into a Pixel, right? The NVIDIA Tegra, what is it? The NVIDIA Shield TV has had longer updates than some old Nexus phones. NVIDIA Shield TV has had longer software update support than some Nexus phones. Let that sink in. The Pixel will probably not have a long update support compared to an NVIDIA Shield TV, guys. Think about that. Google's not about software updates, stock Pixel or not. They're not about it. People need to accept that. OnePlus will do a better job when it comes to software updates for a longer period of time than Google themselves. I promise you that. I might be wrong. I like to be wrong. I really like to be wrong. I don't want to be right about this, but it's just Google just have they have a proven track record of this. You know, their voice. I hope they're using it as a disguise. Yep, smokescreen, but part of me knows it's not. It could be both, Alex. It could be both. It could be a smokescreen, mental conditioning at the same time. So 4th of October is not far. And it's going to be 4th of October, guys. It's on a weekday, Thursday, 4th of October. Pixel 2 was on the 4th of October last year. Pixel 1 was on the 4th of October 2016. It's always going to be on the 4th of October, especially if it's on a weekday. So 4th of October is when we should be expecting it. Dave West at Tech Vella. Everyone is hoping that's the case. Well, the Pixel 3 XL is an it will be a very expensive smokescreen tech. It will be. Dave West, if they had a Note 9 with stock Android, I would be all over it. If they had a Note 9 with Oxygen OS, I'll be all over it. I'm still not a fan of stock Android. I really want to get that in. I just don't think Google do that great of a job with stock Android. I just think Oxygen OS is the best implementation of what stock Android should be, period. And I think it would have been better for Google to have gone for a company like OnePlus to come in-house like they did with Motorola back in the day, than to get HTC in there with their engineers, because they've done nothing. They've done nothing. I think Google and a OnePlus partnership is a collaboration that I would have loved to see over them having to get HTC in-house. They would have done a much better job and learned their lesson with how they didn't do that great of a job with Motorola when Motorola were in-house. You see, so that's my 2 cents on that. What if they had a Note 9? Yep. OEM relevant. I would want timely updates and I hope design tech folks. Imagine if it really is a hoax, it would make a great announcement event. Yeah, it could be. Fresh Tech TV, remember the Google Play Edition? Yeah, the GP edition phones, man. Galaxy S4, best phone. Yep, I had one. I wish that was still the thing. Yep, man, shake my head. SHM. It's probably never gonna happen again though. Yeah, it won't. It's not gonna happen again because Google decided to take things into their own hands with renaming the Pixel from Nexus and just fixing the camera problem. So that's not gonna happen. It was one of the best things Google ever did, and those phones are now rare and rocking. I wasn't okay. I hear a lot of good things about the OnePlus 6, but that notch, I'm not. Concepts creating the house, Mr. Notch designer himself. It is like a forgotten treasure never found again. Yeah, it's true. It's a true legend. The GPE edition phones, 100%. Essential phone, is it worth it, or Poco F1 a better choice? Both. I think the Essential phone is worth it more because it's cheaper than the Poco phone and it's a much more premium device. I would say Essential phone, but the Poco phone, I'm gonna try and import that Poco phone because
it sparked a bit of magic. And I don't know if you guys saw, they pretty much like said that it's not coming to UK officially, but it's coming to, it's going to be a slightly international phone. So at that price, you know, with Kevlar, depending on like the premium version, yeah, what Xiaomi have done with that Poco phone F1 is sick. Is sick. Just found one on eBay. Essential is the better phone overall, but user experience for the Poco phone F1 is such good value. And it's yeah. But the Essential phone just doesn't have the international outreach that the Poco phone is going to have. But if you can get it imported from the US, if it's still less than $300, like what I've been seeing on Amazon, oh yeah, Essential phone, definitely. I'm just curious about the future with Samsung and Tizen. I get why they didn't push it, but it would have made, yeah, till this day, Samsung's biggest mistake was when they moved away from Android as an operating system for their wearables. It's when they should have moved away from Android as their main OS for their smartphones. And I'm talking about Galaxy S4 days. After the Galaxy S4, the Galaxy S5 should have been on Tizen. I stand by that. Now they've got themselves in a situation where it's almost too late / too difficult for them to do Tizen now. They will have to really pour a lot of money, and not just money, get quality software developers that will build a good software developer kit. That SDK is so important to the foundation of how well their OS would work if they went with Tizen. And it's people, I've had arguments with people, I've had discussions with people, and people just don't seem to get it, that Samsung for the longest time should have done Tizen time ago. 2013 was the perfect time. Now they're too deep. And it's gonna be, it's not impossible, but they've now created a mountain for themselves for jumping onto their own operating system that has been there for time now. Yeah, I know, right? All of the names they picked that. The only thing bad about it is a Poco phone. Poco phone sounds like Pocoyo, the kid show. Yes, Tizen is, I've seen it on a phone with very low RAM and the CPU, and it was smoother than the, exactly my point. The optimization, the API, the low end. Oh, like seriously, Samsung, I feel like Samsung really shot themselves in the foot by not going with their own Tizen OS earlier. They really, people don't know that, especially battery life. If you see Tizen smartwatches, they make Google on oh, okay, so the stream just went a bit buggy. Imagine telling the average person, yeah, I've got a Poco phone. Fresh. Right, guys, lovely chatting. I'm off. Watch American Horror Story with the missus. Alright, cool, bro. Alright, Dave, I'm gonna hit you up, bro. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm gonna be closing out the stream just so it's easier for the replay crew to watch it. Nothing longer than an hour and a half for me, man. That's one thing I'm trying to get out. I ain't about all these long streams. I've got other stuff that I need to be doing as well. Wow, sometimes I'll talk a bit too fast, guys. I apologize. Much love, my G. Yeah, then could have been a direct competitor to Apple as well and make a whole ecosystem. Concepts. I'm glad someone is on my wave. And Fresh, Courtney said this to me. He said this to me when the 9 was, when the Note 9 was announced. It's like, why is Android Pie not on there? It's like, Android Pie ain't coming until January if you're lucky, which is going to be either a month before the S10 is announced or a month after the S10 is going to be announced, which is in March. I promise you that. And he said that whoever was brave enough to make the decision to ditch Android on their wearables should have been brave enough to have ditched Android on their smartphones. Seriously, people just don't. If you've never seen Tizen running in action, I've been privileged enough to see Tizen running on one of the Asian version of the Galaxy phones, and the efficiency is second to none. Is iOS good? but no one will ever know, because it will always be this TouchWiz. Nah, G, TouchWiz is not a skin. I keep saying this. TouchWiz is not a skin. People, you'll get what I mean. TouchWiz is another operating system running alongside or on top of Android. It is not a skin. It's not as easy as just putting another launcher on there. The underpinnings of how the operating system behaves, the behavior of this TouchWiz or Samsung experience is still going to be the same. It's not just as simple as just changing the skin. It is another operating system that is running on top or alongside. That's where all the overhead and the inefficiencies are caused. I promise you. Ah, man. Anyway, Excommunicado just joined in, but we're about to close out this live stream. Let me see if there's any more questions that I can answer before I close out this live stream. True, but Samsung would need to optimize most of their apps if they're ever going to make their own software. They do have their own software. They do have their own apps. The Galaxy App Store is there. This is my point. There's nothing wrong with having to. Apple have done this. Apple did that. If Microsoft weren't so lazy with Windows Mobile, they would have done the same thing. There is nothing wrong with optimizing your apps. The foundation of your apps being well optimized is the SDK software developer kit that you build for developers to be able to optimize, streamline, and have speedy updates. It just takes careful grafting. Apple have done it. It's not that hard to do. It just requires money, time, a group of people that are in that software team that are willing to do this properly, and that's it. That's it. That's it. Google don't do that because Google's emphasis is not on doing that. Theirs is just like, we want to get our OS on as many things as possible without streamlining, right? But if you take control of your own OS, you can streamline better. It's not difficult. I don't know why people make it seem like, oh, because they have to do that, it's too much. Well, if that was too much, then why did Apple do that then? Apple didn't perfect the App Store and their apps overnight. The App Store first got released in 2008. It took Apple up to maybe the iPhone 5 for them to really got their head around how their apps really work well. Half a decade of careful grafting, the approval process, the Coco San developer kit. They come on, man. I don't think it's too late. It's not too late, Courtney. And let me read fully what you're saying. A Bosch, they already have it. However, they didn't push it through. Exactly. I don't think it's too late, to be honest, if they have been working on it behind the scenes and give it a good rollout. It could work. No, it's not too late because the entity that is Samsung is big. The entity that is Samsung is big, right? So they ain't a small time company like Essential. They have the money. They have the money, but they've just created a mountain for themselves to climb because of time. Because of how long they've taken now, they've created such a big mountain for them to climb, right? So their developer kit has to be so on par or better incentivized than Apple. Whether developers are making more money or making more of a cut, there's no fee to be a developer, or there's a minimum. Developers have to be so incentivized and have such an easy and a much more flexible platform of a developer kit to develop on for them to actually make it easier for themselves. That's what they need to do right now. And they need to really be ready to break even initially for the first 5 years of doing this, not make any profit, sometimes probably make a loss, maybe make that winnings back in hardware sales, a semiconductor manufacturing company, and make it happen. They just need to do that. So it's not too late, but they've just created a mountain for themselves, you know. Goodbye, man. PS, man, that was an amazing stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. Again, I always say this, man. My tech creatives, like, what's good? I said this, the Tech and Chill Show Unplugged is not just for me, it's for you guys and girls as well. So if you want to join in, just come impromptu. Doesn't have to be planned. If you see me, just post it up and say, hey, do you want to come in? Yeah, you know. And the Tech Roundtable is there as well, man. Tech Roundtable is there. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying the one-man stream, but any of my tech creatives that want to jump on, feel free. The door is always open. Mikasa Sukasa. Sunone.
I don't know. Do people really want to see a Note 8 versus Note 9 ultimate camera comparison? Let me know. I think I want to stop at the Pixel 2, maybe the OnePlus 6, but I think the Note 8 I'll probably do way down the line. So how about Samsung Tizen concept? Yeah, please make the concept happen. I hope the foldable phone comes with Tizen. I hope so. I hope that I really hope this is a mark of a change. My biggest joy would be next year Samsung not only changes their hardware to make it as innovative as what we've been wanted, true edge to edge, inbuilt display, 120 hertz display or 4K display, big battery, quick charge 4.0, all the crazy stuff that we're expecting, the triple camera with the wide, the telephoto, as well as the main, all these things that we're expecting. I hope they do that. Then on top of that, they just drop the mic and say, we are now ready to use our own software. I will have much more respect for Samsung for them to do that. So I hope so. All right, I'm jumping on the stream now. We're extending. Bro, I gotta go. It's late. I gotta go. I need to get some grub. I need to next time. Next time, just hit me up on Skype or Discord and just jump on. Samsung does know what they're doing. They do. Many smart features have been adopted to the Google. Exactly. So they know what they're doing. I just think people miss it, but I think Samsung themselves have missed it. So anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for joining this live stream. I'm your host Ben from the Lover of Tech channel, Restream.io, that we use to stream on Twitter and Periscope at the same time with YouTube. I'm going to be hitting up on Twitch as well, but one thing I don't want to do is give up on YouTube streaming. So I've done this before, but I can stream on Twitch, YouTube and Periscope at the same time, but I just need to figure out Twitch. Twitch seems very complicated to me, but again, I might just be noobing it. So whoever's a pro on Twitch that wants to help me out so I can know what I'm doing on Twitch, so I can archive my Twitch streams and do whatever I need to do there, please let me know. Help me out with that so we can get Twitch streaming on there. But I'm going to be signing out. So hope you guys are good. And I'll be signing out. Peace.